Hi everyone, this is me, Jason Nagels. Week 10 about doing with the DOM. So I want to show you what I did. Actually what I did was something with Computer Shop, doing inventory and adding a new product to my table, and then just by adding the information to a form, and it adds a row in the existing table, which has four product IDs. And if I want to add another one, it goes to the next product number ID, which would be 5 if I do that. But I want to let you know what I've done. in HTML. What I've done was I made the body of the page background primary, so it's pretty much blue. I made the HO2 or the header 2. Made the header 2 tag text set to warning, is also known as a shade of yellow, and some other things I've done with the table. I made the table with info and known as a light gray or green. So let me show you that. So this is the table right here that I made. It's with the word info. It's kind of like it's kind of like a light gray or green color. I made my headers this called warning, which is a kind of a golden yellow or shade of yellow. And I even turned my submit button, the background of my submit button, to warning, which is a type of yellow. And then I made the actual submit font, the text, I made it primary, which is blue. Now what I'm going to show you is if I add something in here, it's going to go to the next product number. So it's going to add, not only it's going to add the row, it's going to add the next product ID number. So I want to show you that. So if I add desktop computer in the product name, and then in the category is desktops, and the price is $6.99. And then if I want to add one stock and hit submit, it adds that additional product ID, and it puts in the stock. So I'm adding things to adding these products to the stock that I already have. So, but that's what that's doing. But that's the point of it. But at the same time, I want to show you. I'm showing you some other things that I did, and I also did the table with all that to develop the table. And but I've gone through all this. I made the JS JavaScript sheet known as Computer Shop. So that's what that is, and that's linked to the HTML, the index HTML using Bootstrap and jQuery. But in here, what I did was I made it since I wanted to have the ID callback or whatever it may be to start at 4, because that's what it originally is. It ends at 4. So let I call current ID is 4. And then what I did was I used all these here. And what I did was I made constants because they never change. Constants never change. So like the product name, the category, the price, and the stock. I did a document get element by ID, which is back, like product name would be something like this: product form, product name. The ID is product name here, so that the ID matches with what it is saying here, but to get the element by ID product name, and then I added a value in it. So it creates a constant called product name, which is also an ID, and it adds and you can add a value to it. The other thing I did with the current ID, I made it have current ID equal current ID plus 1. So when it's at 4, and then I put in whatever I want to put in to stock, it doesn't add to the stock, but it adds the point is it adds a product ID to it. So it doesn't change the number of stock depending on what category I choose, whether it's a desktop, computer, desktops, $6.99, $8.99, and then quantity of 1. It doesn't change the number. But what it is, it changes the current ID to instead of being 4, it goes up 1 every time I enter a product into add a product to the stock. And the other thing I've done was also putting in also got help with putting in a current ID, temporary interval, whatever they call it. I forgot what it is. But it helps because that will help count the it will help have a number on the ID when I the ID, the product ID, it will make it have an additional number. So it's gonna not just go, it's gonna go from, so it's already has 1 through 4. If I add another one, it's gonna say 5. If I add a second one, it's gonna add 6, it's gonna say 6. 4 on 7, 8, 9, 10. So it's gonna go up in increments of 1. So I want to show that to you. Well, let's see. I do this desktop computer, desktops, $6.99, 1. That's number 6. I already had number 5 on there. Let's say I do laptops, $99, 1. And it makes it 7. So it's adding a row with whatever I put in for the input, and it counts a number up. Like it went from 5 to 6 to 7. So it's adding one number up every time I put in some information for a thing to put in the stock for adding new products. But that's what I want to show you what I've done. And then I go back to here in the Bootstrap. I did all kinds of colorization. Made the table, like I said, I made the table a type of grayish, light gray green. Made the body of the HTML page primary, which is blue. I also made the H2 headers. I made those, whatever, if I had more than one or whatever it may be, made it text warning. So I made it a shade of yellow. So it's not black, it's yellow. If I go back here, add new products is the text warning. The text is a warning, so it's a yellow. And then Computer Shop Projects is also a shade of yellow. So I just want to let you know that every time I put something in here, according to what is in here, and it doesn't have to be, the price doesn't have to be exactly desktops at $6.99 or laptops $8.99. It could be any combination. It doesn't have to be the exact number. But as long as you put something in here and here and here and here, and then hit submit button, it will add an additional product ID and a row to the table. So that's what I want to show you. So if you have any questions, please let me know. And I appreciate everything. So.